Welcome back to another edition of the What's the Play podcast. It's your boy Christian here, and we're here with the trade deadline special. We're a little late, but hey, better late than never. But before we start talking about all the trades that happen, you guys know. But we normally do this at the end of the episode, but I think it's better that we do it at the beginning. So I'm gonna give y'all a few seconds, after I say this, to go do what you gotta do. I want you guys to go like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, your sister, your brother, your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, your second cousin, your third cousin, your sister-in-law, and your brother-in-law. So I'm
And
gonna
your
give you
best
about
friend.
And you're not
5 seconds.
uncle.
Best friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, share it with them. Help us grow. Come on, y'all support us. We support you too, but help us out a little bit. So I'm gonna give you 5 seconds real quick. Just hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the comment. Hold on, everybody quiet. All right, now we back. You didn't miss nothing. You just liked, commented, and you subscribed. So now we can get into the episode.
Appreciate
So
it.
who wants to
Exactly.
start off with their trade deadline? We doing winners and losers?
Yeah,
We're
Yeah.
gonna go with Brian first. Brian first.
No,
I
let
go
JG go
first. I go
first.
first.
Oh,
Everybody give
JG.
it make this, simple, one winner, one loser. I'm sure everybody's gonna say I think everybody has an idea what the biggest winner is. So instead, I'm gonna say my team, the Lakers. They won mainly for two reasons. I believe with the trade, we got a core. We can kind of once we extend D'Lo, what I believe we'll probably do extend his contract. We'll probably have a core we can have around LeBron and AD until whenever LeBron probably decides to leave the Lakers, and then we're trying to capitalize that LeBron prime is still going. AD hopefully stays healthy, and I believe we got AD healthy and LeBron healthy. With this core, we have a chance to be a finals contender every year until whenever LeBron leaves. And the second reason why I believe it's a winner is because Russell Westbrook is no longer a Laker, and if you know me, hated that man being on the team since the second he got there. So him not being a Laker no more, it brought me extreme joy. He seems like a good person, but as a basketball player, he's a negative impact on the team, on and off the court. He just isn't helpful and doesn't really seem to cooperate with the fact that he's not good no more. So it's just glad to get him off the team. And for losers, I'm gonna have to go with the Nets, not because they just traded players away. There's nothing wrong with trading players away, especially when one already asked out and then everyone asked out in the offseason and all that. So it's understandable. At this point, he's like, I'm gonna cut my losses and just trade the players and move on. But the Kyrie trade, the way they did it doesn't really match right the way they did the KD trade. The Kyrie trade made it seem like they were still trying to compete because they didn't really get a lot of picks back. They just got Spencer and
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Dorian Finney-Smith, which, I thought it was going to be a good defender and a good point guard to play along KD. But then a few days later, you're also trading KD. And this time, it's trading like you're trying to blow it up. You get like a bunch of first-round picks. You get Mikal Bridges back. And it's like, were you building for the future or are you building just to win that season? I don't know what happened between the few days between those two trades, but it didn't really seem like there was matching in motivations for him. So hopefully it works out for him. But in the meantime, they have a very switch heavy lineup they can run. So that's gonna be interesting to see. I think Mikal Bridges are like 45 the other day. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how that works.
I do want to say though, I think they could also be a potential winner. I thought you go either way with the Nets. Because they washed their hands of Kyrie and KD. Yeah, you could have got more from both of them, but I think you got a good package for KD. We could have been better, but I think it's still a really good package. And with Kyrie, it didn't matter what the package was. You got something for him. And yes, like you said, the trades didn't match up, but I think it kind of allows the Nets to kind of restart. And I honestly do think this team right here is better than that Nets team from 2019. I made the first round with D'Lo in them. D'Lo, Karis LeVert. Was Bogdanovich on that team? But no, he wasn't. He wasn't on the team. But I think
you talking about
Jared Allen, yeah,
Jared Dudley led squad.
yeah, but yeah, I think that this team now is better than that team. But however, I feel like you go either way with them. That's not my winner nor loser, but I feel like you go either way with that team. But I see for both perspectives. Dang.
I just wish with that first
ahead.
trade they got more picks.
Right.
Yeah, for Kyrie.
At least one.
Yeah.
They get one.
Did they get a first round pick? They just get a second, right?
They got a unprotected 2029 for.
Oh yeah. That's not bad.
I want to kind of build on what Caleb was saying because you said that the trades, the Kyrie and KD trades were like it seemed like they had two different goals. I think the Nets Like, we all agree that the Nets aren't the best run organization, but I think in their mind, they think they made 2 trades that can still help them be competitive.
Mhm.
And I don't think the Nets want to be bad, considering that they don't necessarily own all of their draft capital throughout the next few years.
Yep.
I think they want to be a competitive team. And I think the KD trade, just by trading KD in itself, you're gonna get pieces back that make it look like you're getting a rebuild just because it's simply Kevin Durant. But they also got players that contribute to winning. You've seen them contribute to winning at the highest level on a championship level team in Phoenix. So getting back Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and the picks you get, of course, the Kyrie deal looks a little. You don't. No one. We're not gonna know what Kyrie's real market is, simply because Kyrie is just such a polarizing player. The league may not have been willing to give up that much for a player that is about to enter free agency, and everybody thinks he just wants to go to LA. So Brooklyn's hands were tied, especially if they didn't want to send him to LA. So I think both trades.
So
I mean,
so
this
they
may have
tied their
been,
own hands.
yeah,
You said okay.
Yeah, they
because
did.
Okay.
yes, because we all agree that they should have just made the deals in the offseason when Katie initially asked for the trade, because that's probably when the value was the highest.
Okay, JB
Um,
off of that.
yeah, but I mean, it's not much you can do. You can't think in the past. I mean, this is what they had to do in this moment once Kyrie requested that trade, because we came into the season thinking that it's probably the last dance. Then they get up to the first seed in the East, and we're thinking, oh, maybe Kyrie and KD will just stay. And Kyrie kind of comes out of nowhere with a trade request. And so they just had to act in that moment. And, the Kyrie trade, you don't really know what his market is. I don't know how teams value the player who people just believe wants to get to LA. Like, the Mavericks just made the deal, hoping that they can like sell him on Dallas throughout the rest of the season. He had an interview where he said he doesn't want to talk about free agency because it's distracting to the team. So that just tells me that he's not locked into Dallas long term, and that would have been the case for any team he was traded to, other than the Lakers probably.
I'm gonna be
So
honest
when
with
you
you.
have a trade like a player saying stuff like that, you're not gonna get that much back in return, especially at the last minute, a week before the deadline, to make something happen. So the hands were kind of tied in terms of trying to get a viable return for the talent that is Kyrie Irving.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think no matter what Kyrie said, if he said, "Yeah, I want to come back here, I want to stay here," or "I don't want to talk about it," I don't think anybody's gonna believe him at this point anyway. He said it's like what 3 different places now that he wants to stay there or be there for long term, and he leaves soon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who really knows with him?
But that goes in the point with his market is just so up and down because no team, and this is what I was saying in the group chat. I think that Kyrie is a max level player. I don't think anybody thinks that I don't. But it's like, I can understand why teams would be hesitant to attach themselves long term on a max level contract for a player that has just been shown to be unavailable so consistently throughout the past few years of his career. A 4-year, $200+ million contract for Kyrie Irving, I would be hesitant to hand that out if I was a GM, unless I was just this desperate to win. And I think Dallas is a situation where they just may do it because they did all this, and if this doesn't work out, you could potentially lose Luka in a couple years, within even shorter than that. But attaching yourself to Kyrie long term is just so risky, and that's why Brooklyn was so hesitant to do it. And that's probably why any other team who was interested in trading wasn't willing to give up that many pieces, because they know he won't be locked in long term because he wants to be with the Lakers, he says. Who knows how long he really wants to be with the Lakers, depending on how this season goes, depending on how the Lakers season goes. You just never know with Kyrie.
Is that who your loser is? Dallas? Or you have other winners and losers?
I would say
Hold on,
yeah,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
Before you get to your winners and losers, this is off topic, but earlier me and JB laughed, and I got it. I don't know if we laughed at the same thing, but they were showing the dunk contest participants, and then they show Matt McClung dunking in the G League.
high school gym.
High school gym. I had to laugh. It looks so out of place. That
was funny. That was funny.
But continue, CT.
I think my obvious winner is the Suns, considering the fact that everybody was almost saying that the Suns had to just shift something. And this Kevin Durant thing almost fell in their lap. They were so hesitant to include like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson in the deal over the offseason, but they saw how their season was trending, and knowing that Chris Paul's clock is just ticking. They just had to make the deal there, and it fell right into their lap. I wouldn't have any specific loser for anyone who did make a deal. I don't have Dallas as a loser simply because I applaud them for trying to put something with Luka. My loser, and JG said this in his TikTok video, there wasn't any big moves in the Eastern Conference, and this is an Eastern Conference that is starting to look like it's just coming down to the Bucks and Celtics and maybe the Sixers. But I would have liked to see one of those middle tier teams try to make a move, just to try to establish yourself in the conference because I think, I mean, a run to the championship is not impossible if you make the right moves. I mean, we've seen teams like the Heat do it, the Raptors do it, where they just make championship runs, and we are just surprised by it because nobody had picked them to do it in the past. And it just seemed like everybody in the East just was fine with just being with the talent they already had. I mean, the Celtics traded for Mike Muscala. That was cool, I guess.
The Knicks got Josh Hart. He's cool.
I mean that's a cool move, but how much better are they? Those aren't ceiling raising moves. I would have
no.
liked to see some ceiling raising moves in the East, and I just think it's really just gonna come down to the Bucks, Celtics, and I mean the Sixers. They have the talent, but you guys know how I feel about playoff James, and I just don't see them getting it done.
Okay, so be really quick. I mean, CT kind of stole my thunder there because I was going to say my winner is the Boston Celtics because KD and Kyrie are outside of the. You said what, CT?
I didn't say nothing. I was agreeing. I was shaking my head in agreement.
No, my bad. So yeah, I say the Celtics because KD and Kyrie are out of the East. Kind of as CT just said, it's basically Celtics Bucks at this point. Because we don't believe in the Sixers either. I don't believe in the Sixers either. Both partially because of Harden, but also because Embiid has been locked up by Al Horford in previous series before. So that doesn't worry me too much. So that's my winners. My loser, I would have to say the Memphis Grizzlies, just because even though it's kind of no fault of their own, because they didn't have the means to make those marginal improvements, as Brandon would say, like from a Desmond Bain or Dylan Brooks or even a Jaren Jackson, to feel like I mean they're still a contender, but to feel like they have a chance against the Phoenix or even against a Dallas or somebody like that because of the KD move. So now everybody's clowning Ja for saying, obviously, I'm not. But we're not really focused on anybody in the West. I'm just focused on the Celtics. And then, of course, the KD trade just happened. And now you're not even considered probably a top 2 team in your conference. So they're almost losers by circumstance than obviously by them not going out and doing anything.
Nate, you got a winner or loser?
Yeah, I do. I got several losers, so I'm just trying to pick I guess for winners, you said what? Nah, I'm trying. Winner. I'd say the Bucks. I think the Bucks are.
That's good.
We talk about that. What they moved 5 second-round picks for
Jay Crowder.
I don't think that's bad considering this is a team that has, the last 2 years, specifically after winning that chip, made it certainly very clear in their moves and how they've handled their picks and their assets that they're in to win now. So I don't think that's necessarily a loss. And also what is worth a second round pick at this point when the trade market is the way that it is. I think Jay Crowder ideally fits into that roster. He's obviously not gonna ideally fill that role that PJ Tucker did for that, championship winning team. But you look at him, that now gives him the ability to go small with Giannis at the 5, a lineup of Drew, Joe Ingles, Chris Middleton, Jay Crowder, and Giannis. I think it gives Giannis the adequate spacing when they need to go small at times, and also gives him the ability to go big at times. I think Jay can slide down if not, or it gives the flexibility at least for them to run more of that Bobby Portis, Giannis, and Brook Lopez lineup because I think they can stack the minutes correctly. And this one may surprise people. And it's not necessary. I think when you look at this, the trades that this team made in a vacuum, yeah, it's a win. But if you contextualize it with what has happened earlier in the season and what's in the future, the Los Angeles Lakers lost. They really did. And I know they look good against the Pelicans last night when they played. But that was just one game, and that's against the Pelicans team, for starters, where every single role player played horribly that night. Brandon Ingram also struggled to get it going, but man, that team in general was terrible last night. And I'm going to explain. So, like, when I say in a vacuum, like, yes, when you look at it in the moment, exchanging a struggling Russell Westbrook for the last 2 years on this team, for a top 4 protected 2028 or 2027 pick, and then D'Lo, Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt, it looks good on paper. It's obvious when you get 3-star contributors, you get a workhorse and a defender in Vanderbilt, and you get 2 guys who shoot top 15 3-point percentage, or not, or yeah, 3-point percentage in I'm sorry, no, top 15 and 3-point makes in this year in D'Lo and Malik Beasley. But again, everything is relative, right?
I just want to say something, bro. I don't know what you talking about. How are the Lakers losers? I feel like you got out of the worst contract in the league.
Hold up, I think
You didn't even let me finish. But I was gonna say
to negative right now. We listen.
I was
Go ahead.
I was gonna say a guy. First of all, just because this first half of the season has been so disappointing, and you get these guys, it doesn't change the outlook. This team is far from a playoff team. This team is literally like a roll of the dice come playing time if they make it. And the fit, there's some like questionable issues, and I think it's shown. Last game obviously being an outlier, but it's shown in the short tenure that we've seen. Vanderbilt cannot play with AD due to the lack of. He can't.
Yesterday.
Okay, question. I have a question.
Okay.
So, say if LA didn't make a trade, right? Would you be happier that they still have Westbrook on the team, or happier with the team they got now?
Wait, repeat the question. He didn't even let me get to finish my point.
Actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me just. I was like, Vanderbilt can play next to AD. Like, if you look at I forgot the game before the Pelicans game, but if you look at it before, you can't have them out there together. AD, if you're gonna play them in tandem with another big man or whatnot, you need the spacing. He's totally ignoring the perimeter. And before Vando even came to the Lakers, there's a reason why Will Hardy benched him, because the shooting, because that team struggled when he's out there in floor spacing wise. I don't know. I think there's availability now. It gives Braun the flexibility to play 4 in certain minutes now with Vando out there. But again, when we're talking about a centerpiece of your team like AD, you at least want your complementary 4 or 5, whatever position you're playing at, to be out there with them. And it's just gonna tie into, I think, Caleb, what you're saying, the question you're implying. This all could have been prevented if we made the move to get Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. I think those guys complement the roster better than what we got from the Minnesota Haul. You have a 5 in Turner who can rebound and then also space the floor, and it gives AD the flexibility to operate in the mid post, and he has shooters around him. Buddy Hield, I don't think I need to explain it. He just broke the record for most threes in a Pacers season. And that was like what, or not most. He broke some like 3-point seasonal record that Reggie Miller hold. I think that's self-explanatory. And then also, and I just want to say real quick, in terms of Lakers too, right? The addition of Mo Bamba doesn't move me, right? Like it's a hypothetical in terms of that fit of like that big man next to AD, but he doesn't move the needle. And then, God, I love D'Angelo Russell as a basketball player, probably like too much, because quite frankly, despite all the metrics in terms of career side shooting this year, he was still net negative on the Timberwolves. There's a reason why they moved him. They're like minus 1.6 in terms of like their net efficiency rating. When he's off the floor, they're plus 5.6. He doesn't play defense, and then in a year where it's his contract year, yes, you're gonna have those nights where he's cooking. But I just feel like when we get deeper into the season and when the Lakers, because they're gonna try, but you have to try when LeBron's on this roster, try to make that playoff, and they're doing it out there, playoff / play and run. I just don't know when the time comes. Is he going to be able to produce? Because we saw him last year in the playoffs. He got benched in Game 6 against the Timberwolves. And the reason why I want to say it was that game 4 or game 5 when they had that collapse, when they lost that lead to Memphis, one of those games, a big part of it, if not the biggest part, was he just could not check Desmond Bane for the life of him. And that was the reason why they got back into that game. And to top it all off, I think that same game, he took the last shot in OT of the fourth quarter, bricked it on the other side of the hoop. Like I like him, but it's just
you don't think he's as valuable as people see him as. I agree with you on that. But
and then I was gonna say one last thing, and we talk about like okay, this inevitable flame out may happen in this contract year, but like okay, moving on from here because we're not the Lakers aren't moving anything in the playoffs. Let's be real, they're just not. This team's not constructed for that. What do? You re-sign D'Angelo Russell and like Rui Hachimura, which is like those deals will be upwards of like close to $100 million. You sign Kyrie, it's like nothing is sturdy. Was like nothing, I guess, like to like rectify the Lakers situation now and long term was established. Like this is still a very, very sensitive situation in terms of this franchise. And there's a good chance at the end of this year and moving forward, like everything's going to collapse. I don't think these are moves that stabilize this franchise in the future, and it doesn't stabilize it now. It's very precautious. Like, can it work out? Yes. Long term, I doesn't think it worked. Like the Pacers deal was there, and it could have got rid of it could have helped us out because you make these deals now when we're at 10 seed. You're just trying to save face. This could have been done. You don't waste LeBron's years like this. You don't waste a 30-year-old hooping at this level. But
okay, let me where do I start? Even if we had Hill, right, and Miles Turner, AD and LeBron still got hurt this season. So I'm still not even sure we actually win games with them two on the team. Second of all, if we had them, we don't have D'Lo, and we still have what? We still have Dennis Schroeder at point guard. Dennis Schroeder at point guard in the playoffs. Is that better than D'Lo?
In the playoffs, I'm talking about right now. A roster.
Let finish.
It's just I don't know who you think Buddy Hill, Miles Turner.
Let me pick back off you. Let me pick it back. Let me pick it back.
Crazy.
So I would say this, right?
Oh, hold on, actually.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
We won the finals with Alex Caruso, Danny Green, and Rajon Rondo getting key minutes in the playoffs. I feel like the guards we have now and wings is better than what we had on that team.
I'll be back. I was going to say this, right? All right. I think the main thing this season that the Lakers needed was wing depth and better guard play. And yeah, I got that. So I guess I'm just say I disagree with you, Nate, in terms of them being a loser. I understand. I see your point of it. The move that happened, it doesn't really help. It could not help now, but also cannot help in the long term. However, though, y'all got what y'all needed around Bron AD. I think Bron AD is good enough. I'm not saying to carry the team to as deep, like in terms of from the 13th seed to like the playoff 6 seed. No, but I'm saying all y'all need to do is get in. And also,
get in and do.
But also, y'all got. Go ahead.
If this was a situation where the KD trade never happens, do we look at this differently? But I'm gonna go back to Caleb.
But I just feel like I don't want to sound like an asshole when I say this. It's like, well, what's the other option? You said Buddy Hill, Miles Turner. I think the D'Lo, Vanderbilt, and Mike Beasley trade gives y'all more depth compared to Miles Turner and Buddy Hill. It gives you a third ball handler with D'Lo, who I understand D'Lo is overrated. I believe he's overrated. Personally, I love D'Lo. I think he's overrated. But like, it's still another shot creative playmaker on your team that I needed. That's better than Westbrook and Schroeder fit better with Bron AD. You also get another a great defender in Vanderbilt who's young, who was something y'all need in terms of a versatile defender in general.
You want D'Lo on this team, but you want D'Lo on this team long term though, because that's the inevitable.
No, this is not for the long term though. I don't know why you think long. You have LeBron on your team, not this long term.
What do we do in free agency? It's either re-sign D'Lo and probably Rui, or you try to get Kyrie. That's
probably the best things I got.
But that's
gonna be an option no matter what.
Regardless, no matter what.
If you had Buddy Miles,
I think it's better that y'all made this trade rather than kept Westbrook or even the Pacers trade at that. Personally,
didn't the Pacers ask for 2 first-round picks?
They did, and y'all kept the pick.
We still got the
y'all kept the pick.
That's not. Don't make
that was a great trade. I think Lakers did. Personally,
but this just screams this trade to me at least just screams like we're gonna save face because not only did the Kyrie trade fall through, but it's just Russ was moved way too late. You're also forgetting these moves were made when we're 27 and 32. It's not shaking anything now. I promise you, if we move for not even promise you, I'm very much certain if you make that move for for Miles and Buddy early on in the season when a lot of the issues the Lakers had can be rectified and they would be in a much better position in terms of standings. We're talking about a team that's 13th in the West right now.
So you guys
be real. No, because it's not making shit happen. Nothing's gonna shake this year for us. We're not like I know you say get LeBron there. It's not happening.
So then why trade your 2 first-round picks for Miles and Buddy?
So let's say
you look at this roster, it's a win now team, is it not? If you have
LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Hold on. But
yes.
Nate,
this is a team that
you said yourself that one of the options is
ago.
pursuing Kyrie, and we all think that Kyrie wants to play in LA. So would you rather not sacrifice one pick that's top 4 protected than sacrifice both of your future first rounders if you are really that confident that you're getting Kyrie next year?
Honestly.
Are you saying that Buddy Hield and Miles Turner is better on the team than what y'all got now?
Let's say
it's not that big of a difference. It's not that big of a
better
difference.
on this team. I'm telling you, as someone who's seen every single game since the move happened, Jared Vanderbilt cannot play with AD on the floor. Mo Bamba is not moving the needle. D'Angelo Russell, I will lie. I'm not gonna lie. As a third option next to Bron and AD, he looks good. But I'm just saying he's not proven come playoff time. Even that All-Star year he had.
Buddy Hield and Miles Turner has?
They are?
I would rather have them as complement. They're better complementary pieces than everybody except D'Lo right now, I'd say.
So your whole point with Vanderbilt is basically that because he's not a floor spacer, he can't play with AD.
But he's one of the best corner shooters in the league. That's the thing.
He got benched on the Jazz because they were struggling with spacing. There's a reason why he got moved.
That's the Jazz's fault. That's nothing he could do about that. You saw how vital he was in Minnesota with Anthony Towns.
Man, he said the Timberwolves moved D'Lo for a reason. Like they didn't trade for Mike Conley, who won like 0 for 6 for that. Like what do we
play better? Well, they play better without D'Lo on the
Mike
floor.
Conley
they literally lost to the Wizards today. They do not play better without D'Lo. They got worse.
They literally do.
They got worse.
Did we not watch last year in the playoffs?
But Mike Conley fits better with Rudy Gobert, bro.
Mike fits better.
He fits better with Rudy than D'Lo.
And watch
Edwards to be more the primary ball handlers. They know D'Lo wasn't allowing that to happen. So I don't know.
He does not play. The Timberwolves play better without him on the floor. That is a fact. You can sit here and say like it's D'Angelo Russell. He's a good ball.
Because the fit reason. I mean, D'Lo's overrated, but it's a bit more of the fit.
It's more of the fit. But come playoff time too. You want D'Lo to be your starting guard? Like defensively, that is a nightmare.
Then Westbrook and Buddy Hield, and then Schroeder, yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Did you tell us last year that D'Lo was not a bad defender?
Who, me?
Yes, you told us that.
I lied.
Oh, okay.
I lied.
No, this is
after that Grizzlies series, I thought at most he could have been passable or hateable on defense. I lied. I was wrong. Because that Grizzlies series was abysmal.
Right.
See, that's
okay. All right. Who's next?
Did you give yours, Jalen?
I need me, JB, and give. I'll go ahead, JB.
Yeah, but
let you know.
Yeah, I'm about to say y'all too.
Yeah, I was gonna lie. I'm not going to respond to any Lakers stuff, man. We spent about 30 minutes on it, but
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and give my win and loser. I would say loser was easier for me. The Blazers. One trading Josh Hart. I feel like he's one of the best rebounding guards in the league. Great wing that they have. Something they've been missing for a while. I mean, they got Jimmy Grant there as well, but having that wing defense, something they struggled with for a minute. So seeing him go was unfortunate. I feel like now this kind of made their tumble back down the stands a little bit. Also, they got Cam Reddish, so that's
I was about to say Cam Reddish.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
That's a big loss. You don't want that.
Yeah, that nigga.
So
hey Nate, you lied about him too.
I mean, that's my loser.
About Cam too.
And then winner. Surprisingly, I thought Nate would say this. I would say I want to pick something that nobody else picked. Like I said, Lakers and Suns.
No, I got you.
I want to say Atlanta. I like Atlanta. They got Sadiq Bey. They didn't really give up anything to get him.
They did.
But the thing about Sadiq Bey, he's one of the worst defenders in the league.
He is. That's fine. We put up what 20 tonight.
Do they still have DeAndre Hunter?
Nah.
No.
Last year 20. Last year was 18, right?
That's like 17, I think.
What's he doing this year?
Worse.
Worse.
Do the Hawks still have DeAndre Hunter?
Yeah, they do.
And is Bogdanovich still there?
Yeah.
Okay, because my thought would be maybe you could move Sadiq to the 2,
no,
DeAndre to the 3, and then you have to keep Collins in that situation. But
whoa.
But that's no defense though in the perimeter at all.
I think
Bogdanovich is a better defender than Sadiq Bey by far.
You said who?
Bogdanovich is the best. Who starts?
Okay.
No, DeJounte starts.
Yeah, I'm not
DeJounte. My bad.
Yeah.
Forgot about DeJounte. My
Okay,
bad.
but yeah, I think also going to City Bay makes it easier to find a deal that they like
Yeah.
for John Collins to trade him.
Yeah. What they give a 5? They give a 5 second rounds for Steve Bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second round pick.
You see, the Bucks gave that for Jay Crowder, and I feel like their value is definitely
different.
So it was them or the Warriors. Honestly, I don't know how to assess the Warriors. Like, are they losers because they had to trade a number 2 pick for Gary Payton, essentially, which is who they had last year.
But James Rodman sucks.
And Gary Payton's still hurt.
Yeah, he's gonna be back around playoff time though.
But
James Rodman just sucked though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unfortunate. So that's what I'm saying. Are they losing because they had to get rid of the number 2 pick? Like, it's a waste of a pick. Like, dang, now we gotta move on from them. But they also won because now they're improving their bench and they had someone who's familiar with the organization and the way they play. So I wasn't sure. That's 50-50 for me.
Yeah, I think that assessment is probably gonna be based on what they do in the playoffs and where Wiseman goes from here as a player.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's all I have though.
But of course, I understand what you're saying because like everybody would be like, you could have had LaMelo there, and
I said that before they drafted. I don't know what they did.
Yeah,
and then Jordan
yeah,
Poole, Jordan Poole showed up, so it's like it's whatever.
I don't want to give the obvious losers. I think the most obvious loser in this whole thing is the Bulls. They have a lot of contracts expiring. They need to make a decision to either retool or rebuild, and they didn't do neither. They just stood there after the East did get worse with KD and Kyrie leaving. But I'm not gonna choose up as my loser for the trade deadline. I would say my loser for the trade deadline would be the Denver Nuggets, personally.
You mean your winner?
My loser.
Okay.
My loser.
Okay.
I understand Bones Highland wasn't the best fit with the coaching, and he had issues with the team and all, but giving up for 2 second rounds is atrocious.
True.
I feel like you could have got a better package. I guess nobody was calling. But I think y'all could have got a better package for Bones Highland, who was a promising at least spark plug.
Yeah.
Consistent spark plug off the bench. But also the West got way better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like you kind of lost something, even though Bones High probably wasn't gonna get too many playoff minutes. But I feel like you could have at least upgraded somebody better, or at least into the buyout market, at least traded for some like a better guard or something. And also I like the Thomas Bryant pickup, but like I feel like you kind of need more of a defensive big behind Jokic. That makes sense. Don't say DeAndre Jordan, please don't say that.
I thought
that man is terrible.
Don't Thomas Bryant average a block a game?
No,
he's not that great. He's not a good defender. Okay. Yeah. So I would say Denver is a loser in my eyes. Because the West got better. I got a true powerhouse with Phoenix. So it's like I don't know. I just don't think that they really made the right moves made the right moves. But my winner, I would say the Clippers. The Clippers they picked up a lot of I guess more shooting, more defense. And kind of got rid of the contracts they had to get rid of, but also picked up Bones as well.
Freed Aaron Gordon, man.
I think that's a winner to me, and they're trying to kind of make the team as deep as possible. They also don't forget my Mason Plumlee too. I think that's a great pickup.
That's the best pickup.
That's a great pickup for them because they need a backup big behind Zubac. And I would say another winner, sleeper. I'm not gonna say a sleeper. I would say what's the team? Toronto.
For Jakob.
Toronto.
If they resign,
if Jakob plays good,
if they resign him, then I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
But if they let him go in the offseason, then it's like it feels like a waste.
But yeah,
at that point you probably could have moved it OG. Well, they might move OG and Pascal in the offseason, but if they resign Jakob, then I'll know that they're serious about trying to retool.
Yeah. So but that was my winner and loser. I think Denver is probably a loser, just a true loser in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's what I got though.
I like your thought with the Bulls. The only reason why I would say I disagree a little bit is just because Orlando has to pick this upcoming draft. I think they should do that next year.
But like think about it. Vucevic expiring contract. You may lose it from nothing.
He's expiring this year.
Yeah. This year he's expiring contract. Kobe White's expiring contract.
He's gone anyway.
And Ayo's expiring contract.
So, Ayo?
Yeah, Ayo DeSumo. And they have no
team option.
No, he's second rounder. You want to get him 2 years.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I think they could have at least made a move to at least rebuild or retool. They just stood ground. I thought you got advantage. And there's no direction for that team at all.
No.
They don't know what they're doing. Because right now they just so mediocre. They just lost 6 in a row.
Well, they was first in the league. First in the East when Lonzo was playing.
But Lonzo's not coming back this season, bro.
Exactly. So shouldn't you stay packed this season and wait for Lonzo to come back?
No, you don't do that, bro.
See, when Lonzo come back, I don't know what
DeRozan is Asian.
look like.
Vucevic may not be there.
Their game not changing. Their game not changing.
But it seems because the team not good enough though, even with Lonzo.
After they were first in
Their
the
team not
East,
good enough with Lonzo.
How
Bro,
many games was it when they were first in the
it was like until December at least January.
I don't think
easily a top 2 seed.
I think it's more of a coaching issue with that team in general. Because you have 3 offensive players on the team, and like the last 3 games, I don't think they put up 100 points except for tonight against Milwaukee. Last
you
5
think they might make a change, or you think they might wait?
in the offseason, I think they're gonna have to make a change. You gotta do something with Vucevic. Either you extend him.
Well, I'm saying coaching wise.
Nah. I think they should have been done it, but
Let's give him extension.
they will. They did. They just give him extension. They're not doing nothing with that man anytime soon.
Pray that Lonzo will come back.
Yeah.
If they don't come back, they're cooked.
That's all they're hoping on.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, that's what I got though. Anybody got anything else to say?
No, I already gave
his. Everybody gave it.
Yeah, I said the Celtics were a winner, and I had the Grizzlies as a loser.
You did.
Did anybody mention the 76ers at all?
Let's talk about it.
Oh, they got Jaden McDaniels.
Well, they got to be. They got to be.
Jay McDaniels
They
is a good
signed him,
pickup.
right?
Good pickup. No, they traded for him.
Yeah, it's a lateral move though.
He's
You got-
Ivan.
Oh yeah, Matisse did get traded.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Matisse got traded
Matisse.
too.
Well, they got to be a loser in this situation because there's not
they I was gonna say
the
they're
Sixers.
losing-
How?
They
Because
losing-
they. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a bad player. I'm just saying I don't think they made any substantial moves to make people think, okay, they're right there with Milwaukee and Boston.
It's a lateral move. You get another
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying.
It's lateral though. I don't think like at least with when you get Jalen, unlike his brother Jaden, he's I feel like they're him and Matisse same profile in terms of good defensive wing, but can't really. You're not scared. They're not scaring anybody from behind the 3-point line. And then
Hey
also,
man, Jaden is one of the best 3-and-D players in the league. Like
I
based
think,
on
yeah,
stats.
yeah, Jalen isn't though.
But they did get Jaden.
Jaden is.
Wait, so
They got
Jaden's on Minnesota.
Jaden's in Minnesota.
Oh,
Jalen-
okay, I got you. My
Yeah,
bad.
but I was gonna say like
Well, Jalen,
biggest-
yeah.
the biggest issue for the 76ers. I feel like-
Jalen's on Philly.
Jalen from Charlotte.
Jaden's in.
Yeah, Jalen from Charlotte is on
Yes.
Philly.
Got you. Oh, what am I? Does
You thought they said Jaden?
If it was Jaden.
Oh yeah, if it's Jaden, it's a different story.
That's a good.
Yeah,
pickup.
yeah, that would be different. Then I definitely have them as winners.
Okay,
But
okay.
There's a shooter splits this year.
but yeah, like Nate said, if that's a lateral move, I mean that's why it feels like losers to me because they're just like
So
because they
It's not
didn't make any
even-
substantial moves.
it's
And you
not
got
even-
guys like Harden and Embiid that like
I mean,
if you have those 2 players on your team, you're thinking about winning.
But he provides size though. He provides size. I mean, he's diamond and a half, but also a better stretchability in terms of shooting.
Okay.
but Boston and like people say Boston, Milwaukee.
He better shoot Matisse. They better not say
They
better not
go
say
back
not better
They
shoot
didn't
Matisse.
go higher.
See,
It's not.
But
It's not.
that's a situation.
Never mind.
The reason why I see them differently than Philadelphia is because those 2 are in like a different tier where like they're still championship contenders. They're expected to make the finals.
The 76ers not.
Yeah, I think they're in the same tier.
They're contenders, but I don't think anybody's gonna pick them to make the finals because they don't see them on that same.
Hey,
level as the
man,
Bucks
say,
and the
man, I think
Bucks
they
and the
could do it.
Celtics
I see it.
I think they could do it.
because of like Christian said earlier, Harden. You don't believe in as much.
Okay, if you don't believe in Harden, no matter what trade they could have made, then you wasn't gonna pick them.
So question: Let's take the top 3 players: Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid. Who's the best one out of those? Let's just
Giannis,
by
who's
far.
second?
Embiid.
Embiid.
There you go.
Huh?
After that,
Who
it's
has
just
the
the rest
best
of the team,
team?
right?
Tatum.
No.
Tatum
Yeah,
has the best
Tatum
team
has the
by a
best
mile,
team.
though.
So I feel
It's
like
deep. It's deep.
And
That
it's
team.
for the
not really
playoffs, you ride
close.
your best player to the finish line, essentially, right? I feel
No, I think
No?
I think the
I mean,
second.
I get what y'all are saying. I think maybe if Tyrese Maxey makes that jump, maybe I feel different. but-
I think it depends on how your team operates, right?
okay.
I think most of the time it's like the second and third place we had to step up. Like for example, in the finals 2021, Chris Middleton stepped up like crazy.
For sure.
With Boston last year, it was
so
JB.
Jalen Brown makes
He
strides.
stepped
Yeah.
up. So it's more like the second play we have to do what we have to do because the stars gonna handle business. Except for Tatum in the finals, he was ass. But
Okay, so we'll take that point, right? The way the Bucks look this year,
they're really
their
good.
second option, Giannis is still
Their second option
Their
is
second
Drew
option
Holiday right
is-
now.
but it's not. Is this?
Yeah, they're cooked.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're cooked.
it's not moving.
Milton has to come back.
Yeah, he's averaging 14 points a night, shooting his worst 3-point percentage of his year. I'm sorry, worst 3-point percentage of his career.
Hey man, Tyler Free.
Is he a good dude? Is he a good dude?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
man.
might. Hey man, if you ask me,
But
you already know.
no, I mean I understand that Milwaukee has that pedigree and arguably the best player in the world and all that stuff. But as a whole complete team, I think you're looking at top to bottom in terms of deepness. Pause. Celtics.
You couldn't say death.
You're right.
That was a little.
He was trying to find the word.
I couldn't think of it, but yeah, the
No
Celtics and
problem.
Sixers look like the more complete teams to me rather than the Bucks.
This man's out. This man Nate's
Like,
not
what do you
out,
think?
bro.
What do you think,
No,
Nate?
I'm not out. I'm just kind of annoyed right now. That's
Pass it
all.
to Nate.
I'm
Go ahead.
just a little annoyed.
Give
But,
okay, close it out, Nate. Give
what-
me the last 2 cents to close
What
it
I
out.
what I was trying to say is the reason why the 76ers are are losers, not only laterally, but the biggest issue that they've had, I feel like in recent years, is finding a backup center for Joel, like a solid option. And then you look at Nuggets getting Thomas Bryant, Clippers got Mason Plumlee, and then the South, like even Mike Muscala. Like I just feel like Philly's inactivity and trying to get a backup big was just like
Better get
it
Boogie.
makes sense.
Jakob would have been nice for them.
That was good. That was good, Nate. That was good analysis.
But yeah,
Yeah, they
that's-
needed a backup big.
Who
Montrezl
is a
Harrell don't
backup
cut it, bro.
big?
Montrezl Harrell.
He don't play.
He does.
Paul Reed, B-ball Paul.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
Paul
Paul
Reed
Reed.
minutes right now. I'm tripping.
Hey, Montrezl hate
He's
that.
been Paul Reed's been pretty bad.
They waived him.
Yeah, Paul Reed has been
No,
bad
he
too,
did.
though.
0 minutes.
They just need a backup big. I don't know who you get. They could have got Gogo, but Dotson.
All right, good talk.
But go ahead. Be good.
Yeah,
I think that's all right.
Somebody close it out.
All right,
man. It's been another episode. Oh, my fault. You want to?
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
man.
Like, you might be out anyway.
But anyways, yeah.
Good night, yo.
You know, we do this for the fans. We bring you content even though it's late at night. But thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of What's the Play. Make sure to like, subscribe. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts. You can catch us on Spotify. It's on YouTube also. Signing off.
Hey, Valentine's Day. Love you, boy.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Man, stay tuned for the next play.
Stay tuned for the next play.